Good evening, welcome to Less Music, More Music live stream, and tonight we have with us Les Hayden. Thanks very much for coming along, Les.
Thanks for having me.
Pardon?
I said thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. It's difficult to know what kind of description to give you because you aren't just a musician, are you? You seem to be into quite a few of the arts in one way or another.
Yeah, I think I'm a musician primarily.
Okay.
The other things I just...
Dabble in?
Dabble in, yeah, is a good word.
And in terms of music, again, it's probably quite hard to categorise you because you seem to have interest in quite a wide variety of music genres. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely from what I listen to, I definitely listen to a wide range of things.
Yeah.
I think what I do is more... I don't know what I would call it, but it's definitely what it is. It is. I don't think I play... I think there are some people who are good at playing, you know, they'll do one song that sounds like one thing and another song that sounds completely different. I'm not sure what I call the music that I make, but I think it is of a thing.
And consistently of that kind of genre?
Yeah, I think so.
How did you get into music originally? What sort of sparked it off in you?
I've always been into music since as far back as I can remember. So when I was a kid, I was into Michael Jackson and my mum's records. I wouldn't even be into a particular artist. I would just go through the records and find the covers that I liked until the needle broke on the record player, and then you go through the tapes and find ones that had like Jive Bunny. I always found disappointing because the cover of that always looked like it was going to be good, and it never was. Was
that the one that went from lots of different records, kind of mixing them between each other?
Yeah. It was all. I was Michael Jackson was what I was first into, and then when I was very young, still, I heard Iron Maiden when I was 9, and that was it for like the next 10 years almost. I was just complete metalhead.
So you jumped from Michael Jackson to Jive Bunny to Iron Maiden?
Yeah. Well, no, I never liked Jive Bunny. I want to put that in.
I was trying to get you to say you did like it because I really like Jive Bunny. And how did you learn to play music yourself? Are you self-taught or?
Yeah, mostly. I started playing the violin when I was 7.
Oh.
That was through lessons at school, and we always had instruments around the house. We had there were a lot of keyboards. We had a big organ, like a double. Don't laugh now. we had one of those organs that had 2 layers of keys, and so I would play that, but not really know how. I would just pretend it was a spaceship more than anything. When I was a kid, I would get up on it and just press all, because those old organs had a lot of buttons.
Was it like a church organ? With
yeah,
all
like
the
an old church.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'd just half be playing tunes and half flying it in my imagination. It was like this bit's the keyboard and this bit's the accelerator.
The starship organ.
Yeah. So I just figure songs out on that. There were always instruments about when I was a kid.
And so on that organ, you could kind of teach yourself to play tunes that you kind of knew from the records?
I would just figure out things that I really liked. Yeah. So another I really like Red Dwarf from when I was young as well. I figured out the tune to Red Dwarf, and just things that I was interested in. Yeah. I would just be that interested in them that I would want to figure out the theme tune or how a song went.
And what instrument do you play predominantly now? Is it really
the guitar?
Just the guitar?
Yeah, I play drums in a band.
Yeah,
I really love playing drums. And I play a few instruments, but the guitar is my main instrument by a long way. Yeah.
And how did you start the process of writing your own music? Because that must be quite a big step.
I think just like most guitarists, people who write songs with on an acoustic guitar, you start off writing very simple songs, and if you carry on doing it for a while, I think they develop into something that's more you, and that's just what happened to me, I think. And
are you quite a prolific writer? Do you write all the time?
Oh yeah, no, I write all the time, but I'm very slow at writing.
So what is your process? I mean, what could happen with a song with you? Could it take over a year to complete, kind of thing?
Maybe. I don't think one of them has ever taken more than a year, but I do take a long time. If I have a good idea, I don't want to ruin it by like rushing it.
Yeah.
And I've just found that if you just wait, then a good idea. Like if you have a good riff, that riff's a good riff, but it's not necessarily a full song.
Yeah.
You can't just force a good riff into being a good song. You have to wait for another good idea and another good idea, and then when you've got 5 ideas that just stick together, then you've got something that's a good song, I think.
So it's the music rather than lyrics that would inspire a song in you?
Yeah, I think things just occur to you at different things just occur to you at different times. Like
Yeah.
you can be walking down the street and something happens, you see something, or you read something, or someone says something, and you can think that's poignant.
Yeah.
And then if it crops up again and again and again, then it ends up being in a song. Yeah.
So it could be something that's happened to you, or the thought of it that inspires a song.
Yeah, but I don't think I write very.
Personally.
I don't think I try not to be. I think if something happens to you, like say your cat dies and your
Yeah.
cat's called Megan,
Yeah.
and you write, and it was a ginger cat and it had 3 legs, and you write a song about a 3-legged ginger cat that died called Megan. That's
Yeah.
a very specific thing, and it's only going to speak to you in that, you know, in a couple of years when you've got a new cat. It's not going to be, but if you, I think this is one of the advantages of taking a long time over doing things. If you remember what the sentiment that you were affected by was, but then you try and get rid of what made you feel that way, you get to something that's a bit more universal, I think.
Yeah.
So rather than it being about your cat that died, it can be just about losing things,
Yeah.
because that's something that everyone can relate
rather
to, and
than
it's
being specific to you.
Yeah, but it's something that you can relate to other things as
Yeah.
well. Like you'll lose more than one thing in your life, and you can.
That's interesting, because quite a few of the people we've had on have said that the songs they write are extremely personal.
Yeah.
But you try to distance yourself a bit from that and make them, as you say, speak to more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got
I think-
is it one album out, Proverbs?
That was the second one.
Oh, the second
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
What I mean, what was the inspiration for that, and what's behind the title Proverbs?
Well, I think I was just thinking about how people, like, you have an individual life, but there's also the life of humans in general. And humans in general have invented all of these stories. And stories are really important. I think in the age that we live in, we kind of forget that stories are important. We kind of forget that songs are important. We think, well, we need, we need bricklayers and doctors, and because you can see that the direct effect that has. But stories are important, because if someone, if you're in a tribe and you get chased by a lion and eaten, and then someone else gets chased by a lion and they run up, they find a tree and they manage to climb out the way, and they tell that story, that's a way of that other people can know that that's what you should do if you get chased by a lion.
It's a way of passing on knowledge.
Yeah, and Proverbs are sort of like stories that people invent, but the irony is that you don't, no matter how many times you get told a good story, like this is what you should do in this situation, we don't really take that information in until as well as you would if you were if you make the mistake yourself.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, what I was thinking about.
The inspiration behind it.
Yeah.
That's good. Quite deep, that. You're going to play us a few songs tonight. Are you going to play us any from Proverbs?
Yeah.
Okay. Could we? It's as good a time as any to ask
All
you
right.
to play us a couple to start us off, please.
Yeah, I'll play the first one, Gift Horse. story wheel that forms the real. Unfolds a form of human soul. To ask it for a reason, no. For something more. From this old house. And come what will, your hands were filled. One day you will die, and so will I. But that aside, I wouldn't worry, no, it's just a ride without a reason, but there is a rhyme between the needing and the waste of time, inventing reasons.
Are we good for another one?
Yeah, if you like. Might need to tune a bit. This is a common problem.
Are those auto tuners a big boon?
Pardon?
Are those electronic tuners a big boon?
A big boom.
Boon.
Boom.
Help.
A boon means help. I did not know that.
Doesn't my home?
Yeah, no, they are. I can tune with my ear when I'm alone at home and not nervous. But yeah, they definitely help when you're.
It's the digital age.
Yeah. Shall I give you another one?
Pardon?
Shall I play another one?
Please.
In a near, out the other, all is seen deaf to the toll. No severed ties, but wires tangled. Only eyes up, bow of closed, old stories and many tales are them alone. Crawl, little vampire, feeding on time. I lead a bed and a leader rise. Come home, no wine. Crawl, little vampire, feeding on time. I lead a bed and a leader rise. Come home, no wine. And gather moss for balance, then roll on home, gather wood for burning, and gather moss for balance. We'll gather tongue for deathbed, remembering.
Thank you. I remember one of the comments you made about your album Proverbs was that you look at the you can't see who downloads it or if anybody pays
yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
but you can see how many downloads are made per month.
Yeah.
And you were going to say that sorry about my phone going off.
Sorry?
If there aren't any downloads in a month, that will inspire. Oh no, sorry. When you keep seeing downloads, that inspires you to do another album.
No, I wouldn't say that it would inspire me to do another album because that's just gonna happen regardless. But it's nice to know when that things get listened to.
Yeah.
Um,
So what?
So-
It makes the music seem worthwhile to you?
I think it's worthwhile anyway. It's even if no one else in the world existed, it would be worth it.
Purely from your
Regardless.
own point of view
Yeah,
of
yeah,
producing
yeah.
the music. Do you see the music as art, or
Yeah. Yeah.
in what way?
Well, I don't know in what way that it wouldn't be. I think anything can be an art form. Like writing can be an art form, but you can write a shopping list. And painting can be an art form, but you can paint a wall.
Yeah.
It's just, I think music, to me, it's the best art form. It's the greatest art form. It's poetry, but in 3D.
So is all music art?
No,
Ah, right. How do you differentiate them between what is art
I
and
don't
what
know.
isn't?
To be honest, I think it's not a really. I don't know what that question means really, because I don't know what the word art means.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone does. I studied in Spain. We studied fine art for a year, and the first question of fine art was what is art?
Yeah.
And like you wouldn't get that in chemistry. What is chemistry? That wouldn't be the first question. So yeah, my gut instinct is there's definitely something artistic about it, but I don't know. Like it's not something that I think about a lot, or that I'm really bothered about whether it is or it isn't.
Are you in the process of writing another album then?
It's written. It's entirely written.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So where are you at with producing it?
It's gonna take a while, I
Yeah.
think, because it's got to be. It needs to be better than the last one, and I think like I don't want to. From my own point of view, I was really proud of the last one. I thought it was really good. Like, I thought it came out well, and so I don't want to do another one that's not better than that. So I think it's going to take. I think the songs are really good. I think they're different that I've got for the new one, and I'm excited about it. But I think it's gonna take a long time until it's fully recorded.
And how do you record or produce your albums? Do you self-produce or?
I record them myself, and then there's a guy I'd like to have him do this one as well, called Tom Mapes in Loughborough. Loughborough is a place of magic. I think there's so much good stuff in Loughborough.
Yeah.
So many good musicians, and Tom is a musician and a like mixing mastering genius. He calls his studio Stone Dog Studio, and so yeah, he did all the mixing and mastering on the last one.
Yeah.
But I recorded everything myself.
Yeah. But we won't see it this year, probably.
It could do. I mean, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to record the guitar parts, and the vocal isn't the part that takes a long time. It's adding all of the other things. No, it's the recording all of the the other bits, the violin,
yeah,
and the piano and all the other instruments that I can't play. Trying to get those on top.
And how do you get session musicians in for that? Or?
No. I use some VST instruments. On the last one, there was an amount of violin that I could play myself, and I think I got around part of that by basically transposing the song into a different key, into a key that was easier for me to play on the violin.
Yeah.
Recording the violin in a different key, and then just knocking it back down to the original key afterwards.
No.
So it's a real violin, but it's played just in G.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Bit over my head because I'm not musical. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we had a little bit of mucking about there, and I'll apologise to anybody watching. For some reason, the stream went off for a while, but it does appear now to be back on. So apologies for the mucking about, and that's why we had Greg running around grabbing things for us. Can you just press and have a look? Can you remember the first gig that you ever played?
Yep.
Where was it?
No, I can't remember. Well, I don't know. Yeah, the first gig that I would have played, I think would have been in Spain. Now, I remember the first open mic that I played crystal clear.
Yeah. Where was that?
That was in Coventry. I just started uni.
Yeah.
And I went to an open mic and I played, like Sweet Home Alabama, and I think a Damien Rice song, and like really cheesy things. I went every week and played the same, just annoyed people by playing the same songs. But yeah, I think the first gig that I played was in Spain, and it was in a pub next to where I lived. I lived in a block of flats, and I just went in and said I'd like to come and support a band that's playing. Yeah. That was going to play on the weekend, and they said yeah, that's fine, but they didn't know my name, so they put me down as Vecino Giri, which is
very exotic.
No, that means the foreign neighbour. And so every time I
sounds a lot better in Spanish.
Yeah, Vecino Giri. So I was every time I played in Spain, I put myself down as Vecino Giri. Yeah.
Could be quite a good stage name.
Yeah.
How nervous do you get? I've never performed, so I don't know. Is it a real nerve thing to get up in front of people who?
It can be, but my way of dealing with that is doing my best to not look. So you probably you see some people playing, they're like this. Yeah. How are you doing? And they look around like, how are you doing? And like making a lot of eye contact, and they're very good entertainers. I just put my head down and pretend like people aren't there. I've also taken my glasses off as well, because I've found that I often bump my glasses on the microphone.
Oh yeah.
So I often play without my glasses on now, and that helps. Like just having people be a dark blur, not being able to see stuff. To be honest, I definitely don't get as nervous as I once did. Yeah. I think you reach a point where you're confident about what you're doing. There's a point where you start where you're afraid. Yeah. Where you're like, I wonder how this is going to go down.
I want everybody to like me.
Yeah, I think but you reach a point where you think, even if no one else likes what I do, I like it.
So a bit like going back to what you were saying about the album, that even if nobody liked it, you were happy with it and you wanted to make it.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you bother about any kind of crowd reaction? Do you?
Oh, of course, yeah. It's when people say when you get positive feedback, that's nice. It's much better than when people tell you that when you think, well, that didn't go down very well. it's nice to know that that other people are enjoying what you're doing. It's wonderful.
Are you conscious as a performer? I mean, one of the things that gets talked about a lot is everybody chattering in the background and not paying attention to what's happening on stage. Does that bug you, or are you aware of that?
Yeah. Again, it's not pleasant when it happens, but it happens.
Yeah.
There are some venues where it doesn't happen ever. And others where you can just expect it to happen. It's just, I mean, it's just, it would be
It's
great
part
if
of life as a
it
performer.
would be great if everyone you started playing, like you hit one note and everyone just, oh my god, and just complete silence and everyone just like, what's that character, that mythical character who plays?
Oh, not the one who takes away the children.
No, I'm thinking of a much more innocent thing, like the Pied Piper. I forgot the name of the but basically there's a character, and everything that he plays, it's that enchanting that trees uproot themselves.
Oh, the old Greek one?
Yes,
The woman who used to sing and they'd get the sailors to crash their ships into the rocks?
No, that's the
Sirens.
The Sirens, yeah.
But
I
that
think
takes you back
there's-
to good stories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Greek fables,
Yeah.
unbelievably good stories.
Yeah, no, I think it would be good if you had that effect. If
Yeah.
everyone just went, "Wow, this person's incredible," but obviously that doesn't always happen.
And do you bother merching at gigs? Do you take your album?
I do sometimes say I'm not very good at self promotion.
Yeah.
I must admit, I do. I take it. I'll sometimes have CDs with me, but I generally won't go. Come and buy my album. I'm not one of those sort of. Come and find me on Facebook and find me on Twitter, and I got T-shirts and I got badges and sign up to my mailing list and I got some CDs and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but that's just not how I do things.
Yeah. And the question I was going to ask you is just gone out of my head. What was I going to say? Something to do. Oh yes, in terms of playing around, and I'm careful how I say that. Do you play much outside Leicester now?
No, no. I mean, it's. I should try and gig more, but.
Sorry, another technical glitch. That was my fault for saying tonight, wasn't it? That everything was in
everything's
place and
gonna
it was
go
going
fine.
really smoothly, and it's gone.
Yeah, no, I should try and get out more, I suppose. I really enjoy. I do really love playing live, but I love recording as well.
Yeah.
And I think when people talk about music, they do often talk about like live is the best. That's like the pinnacle. If you go and see a band live, that's how it absolutely should be appreciated. And I've been and seen some fantastic gigs, but I must admit that I think the most enjoyment I get out of music is out of albums rather than going to see bands live. I like listening to stuff.
All right.
I love, yeah.
And are you the kind of person, because my son often has a go at me, do you see an album as something you have to work through as the album's presented to you, or do you skip around of favourite tracks, miss bits out?
Well, yeah, if you want to listen to a song, I'll put a song on. But yeah, some albums, there's different ways of.
So you're not prescriptive about how you have to listen to an album?
No. I don't. Yeah, because you wouldn't get ready in the morning if you want to wake up and you want to listen to, a song. You've only got 15 minutes before you got to get out the door.
Yeah. If you say I had to listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
They'll let you off with it. Could we ask you then to do us another couple of songs, please?
Yeah, sure.
And we'll try and sort out all our technical issues while you play. Apologies to anybody who's watching. Greg,
This is a new one. Albert Camus and the absurdism crew thought it quite right, that we should just get on with life. In lieu of a point, stare into the Nietzschean void and see it all blue, where they got our objects still true. This insane reasoning, you're not a real person, is all an illusion. Really, you don't need a jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a pet elephant, telepath elephant. I'm not quite right. Screws come somewhat loose sometimes. Sartre and Nietzsche, the existentialist preachers, believed in a void that only made them annoyed. But Albert Camus and the absurdism crew believe from the struggle alone Sisyphus smiles, not to cave but revolt. This insane reasoning, you're not a real person, is just an illusion. Really, you don't need a jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a pet elephant, telepath elephant. I'm not quite right. Screws come somewhat loose sometimes. A jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a jabber-a-cara child, a pet elephant, telepath elephant. I'm not quite right. Screws come somewhat loose sometimes. Keep on pushing the boulder, Sisyphus. Keep on making it roll. Keep on pushing the boulder. Keep making it roll. Thank you.
Go for a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
This one's called Still.
Is this a new one?
No, I'm not brave enough to play any new ones yet.
I thought you said that like that.
That one was a new one, but I've been playing that one. I've played that one a few times.
All right.
It's my old new one. is done. The blade is dull and dry. What is sung is not a lullaby. Oh, wait, that memory still has a taste. And every word reverberates still. But there is no such thing as fate. Just make a series of mistakes. Oh, watch that dull idea fade. All blows away. Slowly blow away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're not only a musician, you're also a bit of a promoter as well, or would you call you up at night promoting?
No, I mean, I don't think that's. I wouldn't consider myself a promoter at all.
More a facilitator?
It was just something that I wanted to do, so
Yeah.
I didn't give myself a title. I just
You're not into
fancied,
titles.
yeah, no, I just fancied running a night. What it was, I had a PA system. I was living in a really, really small flat, and I wanted my PA system here. I played a gig because I play in a jazz thing,
Yeah.
and the jazz thing had we had a gig at Manhattan, and I saw they had space to store some stuff, so I said I want to store my stuff here, and I'll run an open mic for you, and that was how that happened. I just didn't have enough room to keep my PA, and
So it was basically to accommodate your
yeah,
PA.
yeah. It was that simple. Yeah, I just needed somewhere to put some stuff.
And when did that start?
I think it was just over a year. It lasted.
Because
So
you've
this one was the
just
last
wrapped
one,
it
yeah.
up, haven't you? Because you're doing something new at the Y Theatre,
Yes,
I think.
yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it will be hopefully more open to not just music but all art forms. So the Y Theatre's got a lot of links to a lot of other kinds of groups. 7-5 Productions, you might have heard of. They're a filmmaker
film
group.
people from Curve. Sorry, not Curve, Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Click. There's basically there's a lot of webs that go out to not just musicians but to other kinds of obviously poetry as well. There's a big monthly poetry night that happens there.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of good equipment there. They've got the facility to put on. If someone brings a film, there's the projector.
Oh, right,
there's
yeah.
the facilities to put to put those things up for people. If photographers came and wanted to put their photographs on while someone else was playing a song or reading some poetry or something.
Yeah.
So how it's going to work out, I don't know. I think it'll be a kind of trial by fire kind of deal.
Is there a cost involved to you with having, because that's quite a big venue, isn't it?
It is quite a big venue, but I mean, it's a charity.
Yeah.
And you would be surprised how nice I mean, I work there. I want to make that clear. I don't want to be like, I'm promoting this place and saying that they're fantastic. But I only work there part time.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not one of the big people there. I just suggested this idea to them, and they have been really, with other things that I've suggested to them. I think, I've not brought a lot of people through the door.
Yeah.
but the people who program the art stuff there are very interested in encouraging just new work to happen. So they put on things that I think people maybe in the music scene aren't that aware of, like there's Emergency, which they have anyone can apply to do it, and you just go up and show your work, and whether that's songs or a small bit of theatre or whatever, and then get a bit of feedback afterwards.
Is there a kind of crossover with residents in any way, or is that how they're trying to use it?
No, I mean this won't be. There has been today, for example, they were doing a workshop that the residents were very involved with. There's a guy called Mr. Shea. You might have bumped into Mr. Shea.
You got back Shea.
Yeah. Mr. Shea was there today doing his doing like a beatboxing workshop, and the residents were all very into that, and they were all So there are things that the residents get involved with.
You also ran an event there recently, didn't you? The Nick Drake event. Tell us a little bit about that, because I loved your comment on Facebook where a lot of people will put up about an event, oh, it's the last few tickets left or whatever. You put up not even remotely close to being sold out. And I loved your honesty on that.
No, it sold much better than I was expecting.
Oh,
it was quite daunting when I came out and there were people there.
Yeah.
I was expecting, but it was really nice.
Because I know there are a few Leicester musicians who seem very keen on Nick Drake. I've got to profess ignorance. I just don't know the guy.
It was a difficult thing for me to choose to do, because I think because I play fingerpick guitar, one thing that people often say is, "Oh, you remind me of Nick Drake. You remind me of Nick Drake. You remind me of Nick Drake." And so it was. I thought
the only thing they say.
Yeah, I'm really I'm like inviting that to happen all the time, because I think it is tempting when you see someone do something. If you see someone who's painted a picture, it's tempting to go, "Oh, that reminds me of whoever."
Yeah.
But if you've painted a picture, if you've written a song, you do kind of want to go, "Oh, but it doesn't sound like them. It sounds like me. It's mine." And so it's obviously I love Nick Drake, and it's a massive compliment for someone to say, "Oh, you remind me of Nick Drake." But at the same time, you don't want to.
So you're not consciously trying to copy him?
Oh, no. No, my playing fingerstyle came entirely from Joanna Newsom, who's a harpist.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved Nick Drake for a long time, but I think when I was learning to play guitar and playing A and C and D and a bit of G, I would never have listened to Nick Drake and think, "Oh, I could do that."
Yeah.
But Joanna Newsom, when I heard her, I think I'd been, when you write songs that are just quite straightforward, I think I always thought this isn't quite what I want to be doing, but I didn't know what it was. And then when I just heard the sort of just the plinky plonkiness of the strings.
Have you ever played the harp?
Yeah,
or tried to?
Yeah, I used to go. So I went to uni in Coventry, and I used to go to a group that met in an art gallery there. It was mainly like 50+ old women, not old women. Sorry,
there's our audience gone.
Yeah, it was older women who would take their harps there and have they would have a harp session.
You just said they weren't old.
Keep digging.
Next time. No, so these really old women and they took their harps there, and I went and I had the full intention of buying a harp once. I was like gonna give the guitar
full size harp.
No, a 300 quid harp. So I had, on my birthday, I went I got this money in my pocket, and I went to Hobgoblin in Birmingham, and I was going to buy this harp, and it was terrible. I couldn't because I'd been playing these these nice harps of these very young women.
Yeah.
And then playing this harps are very they're expensive instruments, but they're beautiful. But yeah, I couldn't afford a proper harp, so that's why I started fingerpicking the guitars. Entirely where that came from. It wasn't related to Nick Drake, but he's obviously a massive influence. But yeah, harps wise, do you know the girl from Loughborough? Again, one of these fantastic Loughborough people called Anna Purver.
Page, yeah.
Anna Purver plays the harp, and she's really, really good. Really worth watching.
I went to London, or took my son and a few of his friends to see a gig in London one time, a band I didn't want to see with him. And I just out of the blue looked around, I thought there must be somebody playing in London. And have you heard of a Dutch Korean harpist called Lavinia Meyer?
No.
I went to see her at the Union Chapel in London, and she was unbelievable. It was absolutely beautiful to listen to.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately you only tend to see them at weddings, don't you, harpists?
Yeah, I think they've. The thing that I like about them is that is the way they sound.
It's not the young woman.
Yeah, no, it's that they've got this thing where you get a lot of low notes, very low notes next to very high notes.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of noise. And I just like. I think it's similar to if you're walking. I'm gonna give you a romantic image now.
Right.
But imagine walking at night and seeing, you know, when you see a tree at night and it's got someone's put fairy lights in it, so it's black. Everywhere's black, and then you just see these light spots.
The contrast.
It's like the oral equivalent of that. I like the you know, the low note and the high note. I don't know.
Could you see a harp coming in on any of your future albums?
You know, if I could afford one, then yeah.
Yeah.
But probably not. Yeah.
Is humour, because I mentioned that comment you made about the place wasn't, or the gig wasn't sold out. You also mentioned, I noticed on your Facebook page, about an event you went to in Loughborough where they paid you in beer.
Oh yeah.
And you ended up forming a metal group.
Yes, yeah. It's a true story. We're playing here. The metal band is playing here, the Soundhouse next Tuesday with a featured act, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, at Rhett Barrow's night?
Yeah.
What is the group called?
Black Agnes.
Oh, right.
Black Agnes,
I'll have to watch out for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel humour is something that can be introduced into music? Do you think it's important?
I think it's no more important. I wouldn't say it's important, but you know, it's definitely got its place. I like funny stuff. I like funny music.
Yeah.
There's plenty of I don't know how, I mean, in a song that I played, just the Albert Camus one, I think that's like a bit funny for me, because I think I think I generally make quite serious songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a guy called, I can never remember if he's called Josh T. Pearson or Scott T. Pearson. I think it's Josh T. Pearson. And his songs are very, very serious. But then in between, if you ever see him live, he just tells lots of very ridiculous jokes.
So again,
about
that contrast.
Yeah.
The dark tree and the fairy lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think to the Leicester music scene? How healthy do you think it is at the moment?
I think it's great. Like so I moved here from Bilbao, and in Bilbao there was not a scene.
Yeah.
There was a little theatre, I think, in the entire year, and I was in a band as well with some Mexicans. Yeah.
Why did you point at me?
Just I wasn't pointing at you. Trevor Cobb, the Mexican. Yeah, no, that was more of like a Fonz kind of point. Like I was in a band with some Mexicans.
Sorry, not all Mexicans are criminals. But we were talking about that one who got out of jail earlier. Yes. That's why it came up.
The chapel. So yeah, I was in a band and playing on my own. I think in the entire year I played like 4 gigs.
Oh right.
Yeah, because there weren't, and that in a way it was good because
they were special.
I felt like I was in a shell. I think when you're going out and playing all the time, you're making something and leaking a little bit of it out, and it was nice to just feel like because that was when Proverbs was pretty much entirely written during that year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I felt like these are quite good. It was like a good place for them to grow, if that doesn't sound too pretentious. No. You know, like not going out all the time and like this is the rough version of this new song. And,
yeah.
So that was cool. Then coming to Leicester, I mean, it was just fantastic to be able to go out and play. I was thirsty for it.
And were you new to Leicester? Had you been to Leicester before?
I lived in Leicester before I moved to Bilbao.
All right.
So I'm not from Leicester, but I moved here for a year.
Yeah.
Then went to Bilbao and then came back because my girlfriend's here. She was doing a doctorate. She just finished.
Yeah.
So that was how I ended up in Leicester.
And had you played in Leicester prior to going to Bilbao?
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. Not a lot. I'd been down to the Musician a few times,
Yeah.
but not a lot, yeah.
I mean, what's your feeling about it? 'Cause there do seem to be quite a plethora of venues now, and there seems to be music going on every night.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing in your mind, or do you think it's perhaps overexposing music a bit?
I don't know. I don't know how to even think about that. I mean, like I don't know whose perspective we're looking at it from. It's good to be, from a musician's point of view, I think it's good to be able to go out and play places.
Yeah.
That's really, I like that. I like that there are, that if you want to play a gig, you can, there are people that you can say, I want to play a gig, and someone will put you on. And there are things like this. There's a community, and there's, there are.
And would you say it's an inclusive community?
Definitely, yeah.
It's quite open.
Yeah, definitely. If you, I mean, anyone that gets up on an open mic is going to get encouraged, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's positive.
And is there anybody in particular you're admiring in the Leicester scene at the moment?
There are loads. Like, so if we're counting Loughborough,
Yeah.
as well, yeah, like, because I've just been amazed by those people, by Tom Kane and Anna Purver, the harpist, Melanie Page, and the band that Melanie Page has got with the guy who mixed my album,
Yeah.
and another guy called Chris. They've made a band called Birch Bones. They're playing at Musicians soon.
Oh.
But from Leicester itself, yeah, I mean, Siobhan Madzi, yeah,
It's tricky
she's
in
just,
a way because we're kind of putting you on the spot.
no, I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking of how to describe Siobhan, because I don't know her very well, but just musically, she's just got such a powerful voice.
Yeah.
Like, if you see her in a small room, Kevin Hewitt, obviously, Simon Waldrum have really, his songs are, they get better. You know, if you listen to them, they really do improve.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's got some really good grower songs. He's a really good songwriter. There's some, like, have you ever seen John the Singer Artist?
No, I don't think I
John
have.
the Singer Artist, if you ever see him, you'll know that you've seen him. He's
Yeah.
really original. Really, he's got such a deep voice.
And he plays around Leicester?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. He's a painter, so you can recognise him because he'll take his paintings and put his painting next to it when he plays.
I have seen him at the Musician once.
Yeah, his songs, if you listen to them, like the first time, because it's quite different, you think, what's going on here? But then if you listen to them a lot, you think, actually, you know, the rhythms and the guitar parts are actually quite, I like watching him.
Yeah.
There are loads of, like, else. Let me not, Greg's really good. I want to see Joe Paul and Babs. I think there's not, Rhett Barrow. You know, Rhett Barrow's voice is like, if he was in a grunge band 20 years ago, that'd be the biggest. He's got such a perfect voice for doing the kind of music that he does. There's so much good stuff in Leicester.
And is that for you a frustration? Because, I mean, you see locally artists who, if they were plucked from obscurity, like the likes of Jake Bugg or whoever, you think they could do just as good a job. But it just seems to be a luck thing. Or is the commercial success aspect of music not that important to you?
Yeah, no, it's not important
No.
to me at all.
Do you feel people get too caught up in that with their music?
I mean, people have just got to do what they want to do. Like, if that's what people want, then that's what people want. It's not for me to judge. Or for me personally, it's never been
a priority.
Not even a priority. Like, I imagine that path would end. I think it's a bad way to think. For me personally, it would be a bad way to think about things, because I think music is. I don't know. I think it's got its own worth.
Yeah.
Like, outside of other people telling you that it's worth something, I think you can really waste a life, like, not do anything with it. You can just go and do a job and come home from it and sit down and watch telly and like just waste.
Yeah.
just rot.
Just
It's
vegetate.
quite easy to do that, and
Oh, yeah.
I think having being interested in something and putting a lot of energy and
Having a
effort into
passion.
something, that's a reward in itself.
Yeah.
I think.
So if somebody offered you £1 million a year,
Oh, I'd
to
take it
produce
so
an album-
I'd take it so
Pardon?
quickly. Yeah. I wouldn't turn it down. I'm not stupid. Well, no. Yeah, no. If it was offered or even likely, if I thought it was likely to win the lottery, I'd buy a ticket. If I
Yeah.
thought it was likely that I could make a living out of making music, I might try to do it. But I think that all that path would end up for me would be just turning something that I really enjoy into something that I started to get frustrated with.
Yeah. So it became a chore rather than, as you say, enjoying it.
Yeah, because I don't think that I think that if I tried, and this is another point, if I tried to get anywhere, then I would know that I would fail if I tried. But if I don't try, and I don't know, that I would definitely fail.
Very negative way of looking at it.
That's a positive way of looking at it.
You're positively not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I guess time-wise, I know we had a slight... I'll apologise again to anybody that was watching. We did have a few technical issues, but the whole stream will go up on YouTube, so anything that people have missed, they'll be able to catch. Are you playing any gigs soon? Have you got any festival slots coming up, or...?
No, we've got with Black Agnes. I'm playing here next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think things have really gone. The last couple of months were quite busy, and I think I've got a nice break now. So I'm gonna be, as far as I know, I don't think I've got any solo gigs coming up. I've got one in October, like a long way away.
In Leicester?
Yeah, that'll be at Embrace, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did one of our streams from there.
Yeah, that's another nice venue.
Good venue.
But yeah, so I'm going to be really concentrating on the
Working
album.
and reworking the album.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
If you'd like to play us out with a song, just first of all, like to say thanks to Bout for the audio, Greg for helping us with the Soundhouse, the venue, and to Sue and Martin for letting us have the venue. And Les Hayden, thank you very much for coming along and play us out with another song, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
for having me. This is when the string snaps.
It'll look good on YouTube.
I always finish with it. It's called Daisy. When all is gone, all that's been done is done. All that's been done, and down dark halls, untried is untold, unknown. What would the unknown dark have told? I'm slowing wide. Lay down all those other grounds to roam is never known.
Les Hayden, are you ready for the silly string? Thank you very much, Les.
Thank you.
That's alright.